Folks, welcome into Sunday Morning NFL. This is the closing line right here on sportsbookreview.com. I'm Donnie RightSide along with the DFS Bachelor, Kyle Purviance, and the big man on campus, Jeff Nado. We got the 1 hour show to get you ready to go. And the key for me this weekend, Kyle, fade the hell out of these rookie quarterbacks, and you might be able to retire. What's good, man?
I mean, you're absolutely right. And hey, hope everyone's having a great weekend. Love it that the big man is with us. It's week 5. Look at all this information we have. Honestly, I think the card's a little tough this week. I only have a couple real official plays that I like, a whole bunch. A few team totals I like. Of course, we've got props for every play written on our beautiful envelope. Stoked to be here with you guys. Looking forward to it. And of course, thanks again to Jeff for being with us.
Yeah, let's have a good time here. The big man on campus returns. Another third chair weekend for us here, Jeff. Welcome to the show, NFL Sunday. Happy to be here.
Thank you for having me as always. I'm very happy to be here. I think Kyle makes a very good point. It is a tough card. A lot of landmines out there. We'll see if we can't get on the right side, as our host alludes to every week. I'm excited. Thank you for the kind words in the chat, and welcome in. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We should be able to have some fun here today. As I'm scrolling through, it doesn't look like we have a live Twitter feed tweet going out through SBR. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll see how much that impacts the bottom line today, but doesn't matter. We'll be here to get after it, ready to have some fun, and let's get it started here. Now, as I say, let's get it started here. Atlanta Falcons, New York Jets. I have to say, woke up, made some breakfast, took a shower, walked the dog. Check the score every once in a while. As I said, Kyle, all week long on the show, I didn't care about this game. I still don't care about this game. Let's just get to the main dish here, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I do have it in the pick 6, so I'm happy Atlanta's going to cover this 3, it looks like, pretty easily. And so I'll go to 2-0 so that you can't.
Ram squad.
That way you can't talk a bunch of shit about me all week. I'm going to win this week, go 6-0, and I'm going to feel great about it. But yeah, I mean, who the hell cares about a stupid London game at 6:30 in the morning? It's absolutely ridiculous. Of course, the Jets stink. Falcons stink. Falcons are the better of the two teams that stink here. Not really a big surprise. I feel bad for Jets fans. You got your one win last week. Might be the only win they get all year, right?
Might be, Jeff. Any interest here? As we see now, the Jets are first and goal from the 2-yard line here, looking to punch one in. Any thoughts on this Atlanta Falcons game, New York Jets game here, as the Jets just score?
Yeah, I don't understand this whole thing, because in one way they're telling us how important the NFL is to be grown in London and all these other places.
Yeah.
But they keep sending these types of games to that game. I don't understand the thought process behind it. There's a reason, like in any country that you go to, if I go to England, or let's say they brought a Premier League game to the Americas.
They don't do that. They don't do it.
But let's say they did, and the game was Newcastle against, I don't know, Norwich City. No one cares. If it's Liverpool, Man United, we're probably going to care a lot more over here. It just makes no sense to me. It's a $1 billion business that operates like it's a $25 business. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's an interesting one here because on a way I kind of like it. You send the slop over there so nobody really cares, but also you have to keep in mind the teams that are going over there, the fan bases aren't upset that they are losing their game primarily. The Jets stink. So or let's just say Atlanta, you don't want to pay your season tickets, or the Jacksonville Jaguars. You actually like that. It's like, oh man, great. Less $200 less on my actual payment because they're going to ship one of these games over to Europe at this point. And that's the way you have to look at it, because I'll tell you right now, the Eagles aren't losing a home game. The Giants aren't going to lose a home game. The Cowboys aren't going to. The teams that actually care in the NFL aren't going to lose a home game. The teams that don't have any fans don't care about going over there because it's a guaranteed sellout as opposed to a half-empty building. They love it. That's why Shad Khan, if you ask him tomorrow if he would rather be in Jacksonville or London full-time, it's London full-time. That's why he wants to go over there each and every year, because whoever goes over there, that is going to be big money for the owner. But at the same time, players aren't going to want to go over there, and nobody's going to want to live in Europe.
No, come on.
But this is one thing also real quick that, even I guess the NFL just believes that everyone will watch their product regardless, and that's probably true. But even on the Hard Knocks thing, which is NFL propaganda for the most part, they control that. They put it out. They always put bad teams on it. I want to watch a good team.
I just think it's offensive. England doesn't send over meaningful games that go on the record for Champions League. You don't see Man U. Right. You know what I mean? They don't do it here. So why are we over? Those guys don't give a damn about the NFL.
Same thing in the NBA too.
Yeah, it's just silly. Why are we trying to do all this nonsense when we could just be keeping the money here, get the home team the money that they deserve, get the fans excited? I think the whole thing is silly. I'll never understand it. And can you imagine seriously, who would want to play for a London NFL team? Nobody.
Nobody's going over there. But anyway, we wasted way too much time on a meaningless game right now. 20.
Yeah.
And again, it's 20-17, and I could care less who wins or does whatever in that game. Let's get to the 1:00 games because we got a blowout on deck right here. 453, 454. Miami and Tampa Bay. No wideouts for Miami. Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. If you're looking at some to those, prop bets, I would like to say at the FanDuel Sportsbook, you can actually bet like the lowest scoring team of the week. This one is right in the crosshairs here for the Miami Dolphins. They have nothing at wideout. The way you beat Tampa Bay is you go deep. You have no quarterback, no wide receivers, no chance at win. For me, simple as can be, Kyle. Tampa Bay blows this team out of the water today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Tampa Bay or bust here. This is a nice teaser spot too. If you want to tease it down and get it under a touchdown, don't mind that at all. When you have these double-digit spreads, of course, we like to stay away from that. And the only way you can bet them is like, hey, how can I make an argument for the team getting all the points? What's the argument for the Dolphins? What do they do well? I mean, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Byron Jones and Xavier Howard look like they're both going to play, but they're both banged up as well. That's not a good sign. That is the strength of this team. They can't stop the run to save their life. They can't throw the ball. It's Buccaneers or bust here. I do have a Fournette prop over 23.5 yards receiving at -115. With no Giovanni Bernard, of course, again, he will be the passing down back, like Fournette quite a bit, to get over 23.5 yards receiving. But Tampa Bay should roll here, and I don't mind teasing this down and making it part of your little teaser pools there.
Jeff, this one's risen during the week. Figured to open up around 10. Now we're seeing as high as 11.5 offshore Pinnacle, mostly 11s across the board. And I do agree with it. Now, keep in mind also, you're looking for low points here. Next week, you're going to get, Jacoby Brissett out as quarterback and then also get Tua Tagovailoa back, probably the wide receivers going up against Jacksonville. That's when I will circle next week for a team total look for the Miami Dolphins. But this week, it's like having a slug and a turtle at quarterback and nothing to help him out. Or do you see it differently here where maybe you're saying, Tampa Bay is going to look right past this and maybe a late cover? But what I see from Jacoby Brissett, he's not an NFL quarterback, and that is not an NFL offense here.
Yeah, I think the only saving grace if you're a Dolphin fan is maybe that Waddle can get behind a pretty, let's be honest, bad secondary for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But, look, we saw it here in Philadelphia. Look, when Mac Hollins is one of your top receivers, at least in today's game, not ideal. Albert Wilson. I mean, Jalen Waddle. There's just not a lot here. Not a game I'm going to be venturing to jump into. It is hard to lay double digits in the NFL, but we still have to realize this is still a very good Bucs team that's going to move the ball. And it's noticeably out there that this year it seems like the Dolphins are just going to cower and run away when they get beat up. We saw it against the Bills. We could see a similar effort here where it's really just a question of can they get first downs, let alone a touchdown. Gun to my head, I'll give an opinion on every game. I would lean Bucs, frankly. I just think this could be one of those where they just, as long as you have the focus, which I think you will, Tom Brady doesn't really let teams that he's on not have focus. So I expect to get off of and the game they probably should have lost, a pretty good win.
By the way, Giovanni Bernard is not inactive in this game, but I still like the Fournette prop. So
is he inactive or is he playing?
No, he's not on the inactive list, so I believe he's active for today. So
we'll see what happens here with Giovanni Bernard here. But guys, by the way, thank you for joining the show here today. 90,500 people have hit the subscribe button here on sportsbookreview.com. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button, turn your notification bell on, and also get in the Pick Six contest. Both myself and Kyle, like as Kyle says, rooting on the Atlanta Falcons side. We both had the Rams on Thursday night with a nice easy winner. $50,000 up for grabs, $1,600 per week. So make sure you get in to that action. But yeah, we don't have to waste too much time here on this Tampa Bay line. 11s across the board, 48s, 47. I actually think the game goes under, and not because I don't think Tampa Bay will score. I just don't see Miami scoring very many points in this game, if any. Let's get to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Carolina Panthers, 455, 456. Hurts and Darnold today. 4.5s, 3.5s have now turned into 3 and 2.5s here. And I have to say, I agree with this. 47.5 now offshore with the -123. So really the number is like that 46.5, which I do see is decent. I got to tell you, I was hot on maybe taking an over in this game or the Eagles team total, but I backed off midweek because I see more of this as a grind out game. Two offenses that, okay, they've shown there's some metal here, but now you're taking into effect where you say, oh, the Eagles defense is really bad. Every defense is really bad against the Cowboys and the Chiefs. Now you get to go downgrading in competition and no Christian McCaffrey there. It's not as if this team is going to be able to run the football at will against the Philadelphia Eagles, which so many teams have done. I look for more of this of an Eagles defensive effort of what you saw against the Atlanta Falcons and what you saw against the San Francisco 49ers, as opposed to what we saw the past 2 weeks here with the Chiefs and the Cowboys. Having said that, Eagles still need to go on the road and win a game against a decent football team with Kyle. Looking at this game, if I can get the 3, if it's still across the board, I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. I think it's a close, lower scoring game when early in the week I was trying to take an over.
Yeah, and I sort of like that. It's a juiced up team total. The Eagles team total over 20.5, minus 150. I do think they get to 21 points today. In terms of teams getting points, I think the Eagles, I have a big circle around that. I think they're one of the better spots here. I'm with you. Without Christian McCaffrey, I'm not necessarily sold on this Carolina offense. I do like their defense. They are a good team. I like DJ Moore, and it's clear that's all Sam Darnold's going to do is throw the ball to DJ Moore over and over and over again. So if you're playing DFS, go ahead and throw DJ Moore in your lineup. But I'm with you. I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to take the Eagles. I think that total's about right. 46 is 46.5. I think that's about right. I don't mind that Eagles team total as well at 20.5. It's a nice number to play through there. For me, I'm going to take the points. I like the Eagles in this one. Too one-dimensional for Carolina for me to take them as a favorite today.
Yeah, now we'll see what happens in this one. I do think the Eagles will be game in this one. Also, keep in mind, Julian Mailata back as the right tackle today, as opposed to the left tackle. Reason being, Lane Johnson still MIA from the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's a big position to have. But it looks like if you said last week this offensive line should struggle, they didn't. They performed very well. But then again, you're actually going to get a pass rush this week, which Kansas City has a 0 pass rush here, Jeff. Thoughts today between the Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, Eagles looked enticing at 4, even look enticing at 3. Yeah, problem here is the Eagles find ways to screw you and your money. They are, and when I say this, you look it up. They are significantly worse than everyone else in the NFL at penalties per game. They're averaging about 11 when everyone else is about 8.5, even the worst of it. Yeah. This is a undisciplined, poorly coached football team. I think Nick Sirianni is in over his head. The good thing is for the offense, they kind of ran last week. They did some good things. And we can say what we want about the Eagles, but in all 3 games they've lost, they've had opportunities to win. They just weren't able to punch the football in. You have 2 teams here that throw the football, and they throw the football a lot. We know Carolina is going to keep their foot on the gas. It's become evident, Donnie, and I know you know this as a fan, this defense can't stop anybody. Okay, they can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. I know you're not going to have McCaffrey, but you still will be able to move the ball. It's that simple. I thought we'd have a higher total here. I think if you can get a total in the mid-40s, I think the over looks enticing here. I don't think either team's very good on defense, especially with that Horn. We saw what the Panthers were against a pretty good offense. They're going to give up 30+. I like the over in this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because the Eagles' defense was outstanding the first 2 games. But then again, Dallas and Kansas City are maybe 1 and 2 in the NFL for me in offensive production. And then you take a look at what you saw last week. Carolina finally step up in competition on offense. And yeah, Dallas ran them up a flagpole. These 2 offenses are nowhere near as good as the Dallas Cowboys. It's an interesting number, but I said, like, sometimes during the week where you flow on like your game, they said, man, I got to get the Eagles right now. And I was like, now wait a second here, because you're actually looking at a game where if the Eagles do have a head coach in Nick Sirianni, isn't this the week where you run 25 times here because you watch the blueprint for other teams of how you beat the Carolina Panthers, like the Cowboys? Cowboys didn't throw for a lot of yards last week. They ran for a lot of yards. So that's going to be interesting to see how many yards on the ground Jalen Hurts gets, and also if they decide to use Miles Sanders, or did he just cut him for a 5th rounder at the end of the year here? That's what I look at in this game.
And I took the Hurts rushing prop, by the way, over 46.5 minus 115, because I do think he gets there relatively easily.
Here's what we're going to learn, though, and this is what we have to keep saying. They should have ran the ball last week, and they didn't. Okay, this guy's in over his head. They need to find a way to win this game, though. You're getting a good thing with no McCaffrey here. You have to try to find a way to win.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be a good one. It should be a good one. Again, I'm leaning towards the points here with the Eagles, and anything over 3 I think is pretty good because I do think it's going to be a close game. I don't really see both of these teams pulling away from either one. New Orleans and Washington, 457, 458, another 1 o'clock game here. Opened up early in the week here. New Orleans a minus 1.5 point favorite, but they've climbed up here to 2.5, so just south of the 3 number, and also a low total as well. 44s, 43.5s. Primarily 43.5s across the board here. And as I'm looking at this game, Kyle, I do think New Orleans overall is the better team. But when I look at this and say, okay, well, Washington got some good news here on the inactive reports because Gibson is going to play, Samuel is going to play. I do like Heineke, a quarterback. And the interesting part is usually when you line these 2 teams, I thought New Orleans will be able to score. New Orleans' offense is basically 3 yards in a cloud of dust and, hey, Alvin Kamara, please make a play or else we're not going to score at all whatsoever. And I don't know why everybody's jumping around here on the tee. Was that a touchdown for Atlanta? All right, look, there you go, Kyle. Like that. So
Yeah,
touchdown, Atlanta Falcons with the coaches screaming their head up. I have no idea why, but it is what it is. But looking at this game, Kyle, for me, I think New Orleans can win this game, but I also look at that over-under and say, it is low. It's low for a reason. But I look at Washington. Their offense is pretty good here with Heineke. Yeah. Their defense is wretched. But can you score points for New Orleans through the air, which is how you have to attack Washington?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Washington's given up the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. That defense, I think of every unit in the NFL this year, probably the one that's been so surprisingly bad is that Washington defense. I thought it would be good. There's a lot of talent on that team. They bring you over William Jackson from Cincinnati. It's just been disappointing. So there's going to be points scored in this game. I got to tell you, I've had the Washington team total circled all week long. Now that Curtis Samuel's going to play and Gibson, you get it over 20.5 at -115 over at BetMGM. Washington's offense moves the ball and they have weapons, and Heineke is a sort of a mobile guy. They're going to give up points, but they're also going to score points. I like the Washington team total over 20.5. I don't feel good enough to take a side at all in this game. The Saints are such a Jekyll and Hyde team. One week they look sensational. The next week they look absolutely god-awful. You can't trust Jameis Winston. Besides Alvin Kamara, you're right. No weapons to speak of. Marquez Callaway and the rest. That wide receiving group might be the worst in the entire league. Probably won't take a side here, but I think Washington gets to 21 points. One of my favorite team totals today. I like Washington over 20.5.
All right, Jeff, looking at this game between New Orleans and Washington here, 2.5 across the board. So basically just to win the football game, and you probably will get a cover here. 43.5 on the board. Trusting Washington in this spot, or that's just a I don't know how New Orleans lost last week to the Giants in the first place here, but now they are on the road, maybe more focused. I don't know. What's your look on this game?
Yeah, I'm not looking to really trust them, but I think they get the job done. I think they're the better team overall, and I think that's saying something because I think Kyle makes a point of Washington's been disappointing. Real disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
They've allowed the most red zone attempts to any team in the NFL. That's surprising. The problem you're going to have here today is the strength of Washington's defense is on the defensive line. What do we know about the Saints? Pretty damn good offensive line. One of the best in the NFL. Yeah. They just don't allow their quarterback to be sacked very much. We're always going to hear the lazy crap about Jameis. You can't trust them. Which is what Kyle said. I'm not calling you lazy.
It's fine. I'm old and lazy and fat anyway.
He's only thrown 2 interceptions, and they were in one game. So, he's not the greatest, okay? But we've seen with the Saints this year, some weeks they look real good. I think they're going to look real good this week, honestly. Okay. I think this is a bad team in Washington. I think you guys make a good point, though. You should be able to score both sides. It's a tough one. I was more inclined to take the Saints at 1.5. I think they still get the job done here. But we have to take the thought that the Saints are the team from 2 or 3 years ago, because right now they're not. So
I see you on that. It's a very tough game to try to handicap. If this was your normal New Orleans Saints team, I would think they go in there and just blow the doors off of Washington. But this isn't the team that can pass the ball up and down the field at this point. And Jameis Winston is supposed to be the quarterback that extends the field. It's almost like they're going opposite, which is very interesting to see here. Let's go to Tennessee and Jacksonville here. Some line movement on this one midweek. Opened up. I mean, FanDuel says 7.5, but that's obviously one of those numbers they just put up and then quickly recorrect it. Mainly 3.5s and 4s across the week. Now we're seeing 4.5s and even some outlets here in Pennsylvania now sitting at 5 for Tennessee. Got some good news here from the injury perspective on the offense coming back here for Tennessee. Jacksonville, I guess what you could say is they have the extra, time to prepare on that mini bye, losing a game in Cincinnati, which quite frankly, they probably should have won that game. 48.5s across the board. Early in the week, taking a look at this game, I didn't really want to back Tennessee any way, shape, or form because I needed to see that injury report moving forward. I think they have enough on offense to score points. Obviously, leaning on King Henry, play action pass should be open. A.J. Brown back at wide receiver, and I think they can do some damage here. I love the team total for the Tennessee Titans in this game, which I bet, I guess just a few days ago on Friday, Tennessee Titans over 24.5 -150 at BetMGM. I think they can get into the mid to high 20s here, which should give you a chance, obviously, at that team total. I just don't see that Jacksonville defense putting up much resistance here. As long as Tannehill has a decent football game, they should be able to move. And also from a Jacksonville perspective, they should throw the kitchen sink at Tennessee this week. They're trying to break a long losing streak, which means punting footballs from midfield at 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. That ain't going to happen today, which is great for team totals and great for overbackers. Kyle, looking at this game here, Jacksonville, Tennessee, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that Jacksonville does that makes you want to back them. A couple games, they against Arizona, they started out hot and then they fell apart in the second half. We saw it last week as well. with A.J. Brown being there, kind of giving Tennessee an option in the passing game opposed to last week where they're not going to have to run Derrick Henry 40 times. I agree with you. I like that Tennessee team total. Both teams should score points here. I mean, the Jacksonville defense is bad, but let's not forget that Titans defense might be even worse. They are absolutely dreadful. When I look at this total here, 48 and a half, I think this game goes over here. I like that quite a bit. The Titans should be able to get it done. You can't back Jacksonville. I don't like taking road favorites, obviously, in division games, but this is a special case. Jacksonville is absolutely terrible. When you watch them on tape, they're just unprepared at every level, offensively, defensively, special teams. I don't love that Titans defense. I wish this was under 4, but I still think the Titans get it done, but I absolutely like the over 48 and a half. Both these defenses absolutely stink.
What are you thinking here, Jeff? Tennessee and Jacksonville. I know where you're going here. Explain it to the people.
Yeah, they both do stink, Kyle. That's a good point. And they both throw a lot, particularly Jacksonville. The sign of a bad team is like 75% throwing and very little running. That's kind of what Jacksonville does. Urban Meyer has no ability to coach in the NFL, so he just tells us young quarterback, hey, go out and throw every play. Listen, what happens here if let's say they get blown out 34-6? What do you do if you're Jacksonville? Because it's clear your team isn't going to play for this guy. This guy is in over his head. It's that simple. And now he's hanging out with co-eds. Just a complete mess. These NFL players see through that fakeness and fraudulent behavior. I think this is a real bad team without this kind of stuff. Now you have to play a team that, look, let's just be honest, hasn't been up to where we expect them to be. But to get Luan back healthy, Saffold's back in there. Hopefully they can block up front. I think if they can, that'll lead the way for Derrick Henry to just do whatever the hell he wants to do. They have owned the Jags over the years. Do the Titans have issues? Yeah. Some of them are in the red zone. They've got to start scoring touchdowns. They have issues. The problem is the Jags have way more issues. I don't think they're going to play for Urban Meyer. I don't think they respect Urban Meyer, and they're a bad team to begin with. So I'd lean on Tennessee here. I just think they're better significantly than the Jags are.
They should be. And we'll see how many wins, because I love the fact at the beginning of the year where I think Jacksonville had like a team total like 6 or 6.5. And I kept telling everybody and saying, look, if Jacksonville gets 7 wins, that means Trevor Lawrence is probably the single best quarterback in the history of the NFL if he's able to get this team to 7 wins as a rookie. They're a bad football team. They're going to win 3 or 4 games this year. That's what they always were going to do. But we'll see if they can get off the schneid, because I'll tell you what hurts when you're a bad football team and you have a team like Cincinnati on the ropes and you can't put them away. That one hurts here, because it only seemingly gets harder and harder to win football games as we throw it around here. Let's keep moving down the list as we go. Detroit and Minnesota. Another game around double digits here. Dalvin Cook is not going to play in this game, and quite frankly, I don't think it matters if he played or did not play. I think that Minnesota offense will go up and down the field against what, to me, is the worst overall defense in the NFL. It's going to be in a dome. You got 2 kick-ass wide receivers. Kirk Cousins is a very good regular season quarterback, and Madison probably will go 80-plus yards in this game on the ground, which is all you need. So what am I going to get out of Detroit? Well, if you're looking from a points perspective, you better hope that they continue with their MO as getting their ass kicked for most of the game, but actually playing football and caring in the fourth quarter about scoring points. So if you're looking for this game from me, try to figure out, I'm really not a big team total guy where I got to approach 30 points to get a team total, because 35 points is a lot of points. I don't care who you are playing in the NFL, but I got to say, I was really close here, Kyle, to taking a team total over with the Minnesota Vikings, Cook or no Cook.
I did take a team total over, and I went the other way. I went for a little bit of pain. Now, I know they've had their struggles in the red zone, and Jared Goff will certainly make mistakes, but when you watch the tape on the Lions, does this team stink? Absolutely. Are they being torched by running backs? They are. They're the worst in the league against running backs this year. They were last year. That front 7 is abysmal. Secondary is abysmal. But you know what the Lions do is they keep coming at you. They go for it on 4th downs. They throw the ball a ton. DeAndre Swift is a good option in the backfield, and the weakness of that Vikings front defense is that secondary. Bashaud Breeland and Patrick Peterson are playing like they're old and they're slow. They look washed up. They can't stop anybody. I think the Lions can score some points today. I'm not taking Kirk Cousins ever as a double-digit favorite. I don't give a damn. I don't care if he's playing the Bad News Bears. It's not going to happen. Kirk Cousins as a double-digit favorite. My money on that, you may as well just cut the top of my head out, pull my brain out, move it over to the side, and let me fall down, because there's no way that's going to happen. But I do like the Lions team total over 17.5, minus 120. Look, if they just get rid of the turnovers in the red zone, this team is moving the ball up and down the field, 450-plus yards of offense. They just weren't getting the ball in the end zone. I don't think the Vikings are that opportunistic of a defense. I think the Lions get to 20 points today. I like that Lions team total. I don't give a damn who wins, and there's no way I'm backing Kirk Cousins as a double-digit favorite. Just not.
Yeah, see what we have here, Jeff. What are you thinking here? Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions here. Let's just call it 10s across the board. So most of the places now moving towards 9.5s and just under 50 as a total in this one. What are you looking at?
Yeah, look, I think Kyle makes a point like that I'll use to kind of generalize the side. I think the Vikings are the play in this game. I think that's the reason why. Why is Kirk Cousins laying 10? Okay,
Right.
This is a one-win football team. Why are they laying 10? Because the Lions aren't any good. Okay, I know they've been plucky in certain games, but what happened against the Bears? They lost like 10 to the Bears. They got crushed by the Packers. This is a Viking team that Donnie alluded to. It's not your old Vikings team, the team that sits and runs the ball the entire game. They're one of the fastest tempo teams in the NFL. They had a putrid performance last week. I've got to be feeling like they're looking to let their hair down here against a bad football team. Remember as well, they had their backs against the wall down 0-2 the last time I was on this show. They came in and they took it to a real good Seahawk offense, held them to 17. I think we're getting a little jaded in believing that the Detroit, I was going to call them the Pistons, the Lions, well, they're just as bad. The Lions are any good. Can they move the ball a little bit? Yeah, but I think ultimately there's a reason this line is where it is. That being said, is it the best play on the board? No. But again, I'm offering a pick. If I'm playing this game, I'm playing the Vikings here.
It's funny here. I just watched, and again, my synopsis for today, and by the way, FanDuel put up my favorite odds boost here. We'll get to a little bit later in the day. But looking at this today, the Jets, you're down 10 points. Zach Wilson's in the pocket, running around, takes like a 20-yard sack here. So there's 21 seconds to go. They're still in field goal range. They probably should kick the field goal and then try for an onside kick, which they are doing now. So if you had the Atlanta Falcons, you're going to win this game. But even if you had like the 3 points coming down, Kyle, that you did, like just a rookie quarterback knowing like, hey, they're giving you like something here, and he just keeps running backwards and takes that sack, man. Rookie quarterbacks are so hard. They are so hard to back with your money, man. But kudos to you. Looks like you're going to pull one out here.
Isn't the Zach Wilson thing weird? Like when you're going into that draft, everyone's like, the 49ers would love to take Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson might be better than Trevor Lawrence. Like, I know it's a bad team, but doesn't that dude just look lost? He looks like a bad version of Johnny Manziel.
Again, Kyle,
yeah, but he's with the Jets, though, man.
I know.
I don't know anybody.
He
like we would probably be throwing anybody out there, though.
He just looks small and lost.
But put him on the Niners, he's significantly better.
Yeah,
you need a coach. You need a player
scheme.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think he'll be okay. It's all about weapons around him, though. And we'll see how it goes through. But we don't expect rookie quarterbacks get their ass kicked in the NFL. I mean, did anybody remember Peyton Manning? We should have retired Peyton Manning after his rookie year because that was the worst rookie performance that we've ever seen. And I think it turned out okay after a while. Mm-hmm. Teddy Bridgewater and Ben Roethlisberger out there today. How about this? DraftKings now showing a -2.5 as a favorite towards Denver. And I agree. There is no number. Like, I know they're trying to bait you guys out there. Ooh, Steelers getting points at home. Don't fall for that trap anymore. This isn't 1989. This isn't 1998 or whatever with Jerome Bettis. This isn't Cordell Stewart out here, running like Slash. This isn't Bill Cowher's teams. This isn't Mike Tomlin's teams when you had all those dominant players. This team is a shell of its former self here. And by the way, it's funny because you saw Minkah Fitzpatrick get traded for that one number. That's what we like here. Minkah Fitzpatrick is second to last in rated safeties in the NFL. So that first round pick that you might have used to get your future quarterback, your future quarterback is back playing bad safety position now. Kyle, no, I don't care. The cap was simple this week. If Teddy Bridgewater was going to be the starting quarterback, it's Denver for me, and that's that.
Doesn't this one feel like a trap? I mean,
no,
it's absolutely a trap for me.
I'm thinking that with this team. The Steelers stink.
The Steelers are so bad. If it was Drew Lock, I was going to take the Steelers all day long. I'm kind of bummed out when I put my pick six in. I was really counting on Drew Lock being the guy today because if Drew Lock's there, then obviously Pittsburgh wins this game no matter how bad their offense is. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I agree with this total at 39.5. It's low. You're going to see a lot of short passes. Neither team are going to have a lot of success running the ball here. But I'm with you. Now that Teddy Bridgewater's there, there's no way you can back Ben Roethlisberger, but it does feel like a trap. I stayed the hell away from this game. Did do a little prop, the tight end Fairmouth for the Steelers over 15.5 yards receiving. It's one area where you can attack the Denver defense. They have been giving up a few fantasy points to tight ends, but other than that, solid defense here. We live in a world where we trust Teddy Bridgewater on the road more than Ben Roethlisberger at home. Feels like a trap, but I'm leaning Denver.
It's an interesting one, Jeff, because I think you're right. I sort of gotten out of that Steeler mode over the past year and a half where it's like, hey, how can I take the Steelers at home? They're so dominant. And I do show after show, Jeff, where I stop and say, all right, oh, it looks really good. No. I don't care what it looks like. If Ben Roethlisberger is starting at quarterback, I can't do it anymore, Jeff.
Donnie, I've known you for a long time. We've been friends for a long time. You come to my family barbecues. You're not that close, Kyle, or I'd invite you. But Donnie and I know how he looks at things. And over the years, we always have tried to find ways to back the Steelers. Great defense, good receivers, sure-handed. First of all, Mike Tomlin's a good coach. I know Donnie doesn't love Mike Tomlin.
I've softened on Mike Tomlin, though. I have softened on him, so go ahead.
Yeah, he's a good coach. You look at just this year. It's kind of like when you have Army, right? When you're good for 4 years, and then they're going to have that year where everyone leaves and they got to get new players in. The Steelers have passed that point, and the problem is their quarterback he's been there 2 years too long. Okay, he's brittle. He's not good. His offensive line, he can't fall back on like he has been able to in years past. Here's the thing in a game like this. When we look at Denver in a flip situation, okay, they have a really good defense. They're getting Glasgow and Risner back today on the offensive line. Big gains there. You're back to fully healthy. Again, Teddy Bridgewater in his career, 38-13 against the spread in a flip.
Amazing.
I will take that any day of the week. It's that simple. I don't look at like the trap stuff in these kind of games because I've accepted. I don't think the Steelers are good, and I will not be that guy that expects them to be any different. I think they are what they are.
Yeah.
No, you are completely right on that too. Because and in what world do we think of maybe just a couple years ago? Like, wait a second here, I'm going to trust Teddy Bridgewater on the road more than Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers at home, and not to cover 7.5 or 10.5, just to win the game. And oh yeah, Pittsburgh is an underdog. Don't fall for these traps anymore. The traps are being set out there with the old Pittsburgh Steelers at home and Heinz Field, and get your hard hats out here. That's not Pittsburgh this year. We'll see what happens today.
I think you're so right, Donnie. Kyle, I think this is a trap for Pittsburgh people. Because what we've learned about them is they're pretty reliant and think like, oh, they're just going to be fine. And Pittsburgh's a dog at home. You know, they're just not any good. I think
this whole game feels grimy to me. I'm staying the hell away from. I don't like anything happening here. I will say, if you're playing DFS, a lot of people will stay away from these lower total games from having players. But guys like Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson, they're going to be so heavily targeted in that short passing game. There's some upside there, and they're going to be lower owned. So if you're looking for a contrarian DFS option in tournaments, Johnson and Harris make a lot of sense.
Over 500 people watching currently live here, half hour into the show, half hour to kick off. Thank you guys for coming in, kicking some ass with us here, having some fun, giving out some plays here. Let's keep moving right down the list as we go, having more fun because this one is very polarizing as well. 465, 466, Green Bay and Cincinnati, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow today, full complement of wide receivers. And I should say a full complement of weapons here for Cincinnati. But having said that, Joe Mixon is nowhere near going to be 100% today. But that really wasn't in my cap of what I liked here. If we take a look, threes across the board, 3.5. Now we're seeing 2.5 across the board. So you get less than a field goal here with the Green Bay Packers. Normally, is it just a complete sign-off and you say, you know what, I take the Packers under 3? Not necessarily. Jair Alexander out today with 3 legitimate wide receivers, and I really like Joe Burrow playing at a high level at quarterback this year, only second year in the league. Would it be nice to have Joe Mixon 100%? Sure, it would be. But I think those wide receivers can do enough damage. Now, having said that, to win the game, we'll see. But the fact is, looking at a team total for Cincinnati, I couldn't pass that one up. 22.5 at -155. So 24 points gets that done. They will approach 20 to 25, mid-20s range, and that's all I can ask for here. I think Joe Burrow has a pretty good day against a weak secondary for the Packers. Should be a fun game to watch here, but I'm going Cincinnati's team total here, Kyle. I love it. What do you think in Green Bay Packers, Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, I mean, the Jair Alexander, are you sure he's not on the inactive list, Jair Alexander, right now as I look at it? So he may be in today. That's a huge...
No, he's out for a long time. He might go IR for a long time.
There we go. Surgery. Okay, so what you just said about the Bengals and Alexander being out makes me like the Packers team total over 26.5 quite a bit. I agree. I like that Bengals team total as well. But the strength of the Packers defense was that secondary. They stink against the run, so it's good that Joe Mixon's there. He won't be 100%, so you're going to see way too much of Samaje Perine, et cetera, which I just don't like all that much. Despite all of that, I think the Packers are just so much better than the Bengals. The Bengals, that secondary, Chidobe Awuzie, Mike Hilton, these guys are all giving up a completion on 20% or more on targeted defensive pass routes. I think the Packers get it done here. It's one of my favorite plays today. I like the Packers -3. And the Bengals forcing the issue, being able to throw the ball with those talented wide receivers just makes me like that Packers team total even more. I lean the over in this game. I think both teams are going to score points. This game will probably be on your Red Zone channel. One of the more frequent games you'll see on the screen. I agree with that 51. I think it goes over 50.5, 51. I like the Packers under a field goal. I'll take that all day of the week. The Bengals are live here at home, absolutely, in terms of covering, but under a field goal, Aaron Rodgers, all those weaknesses in the secondary, I got to lean the Packers here.
Yeah, I could say it, and that's why I didn't take a side per se in this game. I like the team total, and I guess you go get a running mate on either side. I think both of these quarterbacks can make some plays. Jeff, looking here, Cincinnati, a little bit extra time to prepare for this one. It actually gave Joe Mixon probably a chance to play today, which he is active. We'll see how much playing time he gets, but your thoughts on the Packers and the Bengals?
Yeah, I took a little piece of the over when it's at 50.5. I like 50.5 as a number. 27-24 is going to come in there.
Yeah.
When we look at Cincinnati, okay,
love that
obviously have made a major move offensively. This team is trustworthy now. They can move the football. And one thing I love, Donnie, I love this stat. 75% in the red zone scoring a touchdown. That's good stuff. They maybe don't move the ball always, but they get the ball in the end zone when it matters most. We know Green Bay will move the ball against, as Kyle said, a bad secondary. They are a bad secondary. With the Jared Alexander stuff, I'm looking over the number. I think we have a fun game here. Could be one of the higher scoring games of the day. Donnie, one other point. When we see a guy like Aaron Rodgers, because he's a close age to Ben Roethlisberger, right? Tom Brady, obviously, as well. If you folks at this point don't understand how important taking care of yourself is, and believe me, I know, you do have to. Look at these quarterbacks. Prime example. What do we see Big Ben doing? He's always, when he's younger, he's partying. I'm sure he doesn't eat correctly. Look at him. He's completely broken down. Look at Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. They look like they're 25. Okay? I had to realize it. They need to realize it. Ben should have took care of himself. He's a mess right now.
No, I agree. I think it's very well said at that point here. By the way, also, we're going to get into this next game here. New England and Houston, 467, 468. That is Mac Jones going up against Davis Mills, two rookie quarterbacks here. It's amazing that the New England Patriots at 1-3 without Tom Brady are on the road and laying 8 points. That just tells you how bad I'm not going to say defense, a offensive football team that the Houston Texans are. FanDuel has some really interesting things called lowest scoring of the week, and you get lottery tickets on these. If I were to tell you Houston to be the lowest scoring team of the week is plus 650, not plus 100, not plus 120, plus 650 this week to be the lowest scoring team. Now, who would be the running mate? Like I talked about the Miami Dolphins. You want the Dolphins? Plus 950 for them. So you can actually take flyers across the board, a couple of these, and just say, like, hey, I'm going to take the Texans and the Dolphins for a unit apiece, plus 650, plus 950. There's a really good chance those teams aren't scoring very many, if any, points at all. So now breaking down this game to me, do I necessarily want a rookie quarterback on the road for a 1-3 football team to cover 8? No. But having said that here again, Kyle, I look at this game and I say, look at the line. And this is the joke that we like to play each and every week on the Houston Texans. The line is 8 to 8.5, let's say. That is your total, not for the game, but for first downs for Houston. Going to be close. Going to be close if they can get to that 10 first down marker here, Kyle.
You're right. And it's just the whole thing's putrid, right? You don't want to take rookie quarterbacks on the road, and you essentially need them to win by 10 points, right? I mean, it's just, nothing makes you feel worse than holding the bag on that. But you watch tape on this Houston Texans team, and my God, like, we think the Jets are bad. We think Jacksonville's bad. Watch Houston on tape without Tyrod Taylor. Oh my God, it's not fun. It's a long 1 hour progression of you stink, you stink, you stink. So you gotta lean New England here. I didn't put any money on this game because there's just no way in hell you're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to have success long term taking rookie quarterbacks on the road that need to essentially win by double digits. But on this one, there is nothing. Absolutely nothing that Houston does to make you think they can cover against anyone. Houston would probably lose to Alabama right now. So you got to go with the Patriots.
You know, it's interesting, too, because you're waiting, right? Because everybody be down and out on Houston. Tyrod Taylor is going to come back this year, and it'll be very interesting what those team totals start to hang and what his – because I guess when we're joking around, Jeff, we see this and we go, is Tyrod Taylor the MVP of the National Football League just based on the offense for Houston at this point? But your thoughts on this game, Jeff, between the Patriots and the Texans here?
Yeah, Dylan C. looks like a sad Pittsburgh fan. I'm just kidding around, Dylan C. Relax. But I don't think he's taking care of himself. I just don't. Big Ben is
remember when he wouldn't wear a helmet, too, and he was crashing his motorcycle?
I think he's just kind of reckless. That's all. I feel like he's – compared to Tom Brady, who's the picture of health? Let's just be honest. I'm sorry. As far as this game, again, another reason why Donnie and I get along. Donnie, I bet what you said. I've already bet that.
Did you? Yeah, I love it. The market is awesome on those, man.
I also bet that. I also bet that. Look, I got 14.5 on a team total with Houston.
Yeah.
If they score 20, salute. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard not to take those. It is. I love that.
And he's not good. And there's one thing I know about Mr. Belichick. He is very good against these types of quarterbacks, okay? He obviously recognized and set an example this week. He put his line in the sand and said, look, these are the corners we have, and this is our bet. These are our best options. This is a good defense. I know they're not great against the run, but Houston can't run the ball. So I think, again, Houston, they are what they are.
Game looks like an
under. It's not
under.
ideal, Donnie, though, laying 10 on the road.
Teaser spot. I don't mind the teaser. If you want to tease us down to under a touchdown, that makes a whole lot more sense. Someone was asking about teasers in the chat box. This could be a nice teaser spot here. Patriots should get it done, but 10?
Let's just bank on the fact that Houston can't score.
Right.
That's what I think we can all agree on.
Yeah. No, that's really what it is. I'll tell you another team that might struggle to score in this one coming up next, and this is where it starts that charge of, Davis Mills. It's hard to say you fade a rookie quarterback because Mac Jones is one. I love this game. I love the Raiders in this game. It's 5 and 5.5 across the board, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. I think the Raiders are a good football team. I think the Bears are below average. You're taking away the Bears' best weapon in the backfield in Montgomery. So now you're going to lean on Justin Fields to go on the road in a dome and win a football game? I don't think that's happening here. And even if you take a look at, Justin Fields won last week. If Detroit could do anything in the red zone and just kick field goals, they end up beating Chicago. First of all, Justin Fields was okay last week. He was maybe the worst start I've seen since Ben DiNucci's start in Philadelphia from the year before. And before that, when he came in the game against the Bengals, the Bears would have been better off just taking 3 knees every time they took the field. He's not going on the road to win this game. I love the Raiders to win this game by 7 or more here, Kyle.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's in my pick 6. I like as one of the sides I considered making an official play this week. You look at that Bears secondary. They are going to have trouble. They can't stop tight ends. They're not going to be able to stop these wide receivers. Josh Jacobs looks healthy, and that's a huge boom for that Raiders offense. Do I love the Raiders defense? No, but you know what a bad defense likes? A bad offense, and that's what they're going to see today. That Bears offense just stinks. Justin Fields, do I eventually think he'll be good? I do, but right now, can't move the ball, turnover prone. I like the Raiders here. I think they get it done by a touchdown. I just don't see how the Bears defense stops the passing game of the Raiders. That secondary is so beat up for Chicago. Khalil Mack is going to have to absolutely go insane in this game for the Bears to have a chance. I don't see it happening. I like the Raiders here. I like the 5.5. And I sort of like that Raiders team total as well. I almost took a sprinkle on that over 24.5 minus 120. I think they get to 28 points today.
Yeah, I just don't see a huge upside here on the Bears offense. I do think the Raiders will be able to score in this game, but again, rookie quarterbacks on the road. We already saw Justin Fields on the road. It was a disaster. Even if this is way better than that, what does that mean? It's just slightly less of a disaster? What are you looking at here, though, Jeff, in this game? Do you think the Bears can compete in this one and cover the number, or do you think this is the Vegas Raiders here?
Well, we're in a rough spot if we're the Bears, right, in the fan base, because what Justin Fields reminds me of is like when I go to the bar, which doesn't happen much, but when I do, and I know this will be hard for many to believe, but most women flock to me, right? So when I have a woman on my arm, it's like we're going home. This is great. And then her friend walks in, and it's like, damn, man,
someone's got to jump on the grenade.
Matt Nagy, he's the guy. He's blocking your action here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy is the problem. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Matt Nagy is the problem. The problem is I don't love the Raiders. I continue to say I don't think this is a real good team. I don't trust them long term. And remember, I know we don't want to bring this up, but there is some things off the field. I just don't know. Does that ostracize hit? I'm sure it does in some players' eyes. Donnie, I know. We've all been on Twitter a long time. When someone says something, you always kind of go back to that and remember, well, they did say that. I don't know. I hear your point. I think, Donnie, you're a little jaded because you hate the Bears. I get it. But the good thing is Matt Nagy's on the sidelines. You're always going to have a chance to beat them badly. There's cases for both sides, I think, here. It's a pass for me.
No, I hear on that too. And also keep in mind, this isn't something that John Gruden said in front of the team on Tuesday in practice. This is an email dug up from 2011. And you're saying like, hey, trust me on this. Let me ask anybody out there that's watching the show or us three on the show here. if one of your superiors, they had an email from 10 years ago that used some derogatory terms, are you going to sabotage your own career just because your boss said that? No. These guys love it in the NFL. Why? Because every Tuesday, millions of dollars splash their account. What the coach says has zero bearing. It's the same thing with Urban Meyer. They're not going to play for the guy. He lost the locker room. No, if you lose the locker room, that means those guys lose their paychecks. They're not about that. Trust me. Professionals don't care about the guy next to them. They care about their bank account, and that's all they care about. So if anybody thinks that the Raiders are going to come out and not play good because of an email 10 years ago, man, you're doing this the wrong way in sports gambling here. Let's keep going.
Donnie, remember,
go ahead, man.
Remember as well, this is a team that's actually playing pretty well for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like the camaraderie and the culture's there again. But Donnie, you remember this? It's 17, I think it was, when the kneeling stuff was going on. Derek Carr was ostracized for not kneeling. You know, this team before has kind of had trouble in these certain types of events, but some of those guys are out now, so hopefully they've moved on.
Yeah, I mean, they hated Derek Carr so much he's still the starting quarterback in Vegas. Like, no, everybody's always outraged at something until it's like, hey, you want to be outraged and take your paycheck away? No way, I'm playing my ass off today. Exactly. That's what they're going to do here. Cleveland and the Chargers. How about this one? Browns, Chargers, Mayfield, Herbert. I'm worried about Baker Mayfield's arm. I am worried about their passing game. I'm not worried about their offensive line. I'm not worried about their running backs. I'm not worried about their defense. But if you need to win football games in this league, I got to tell you, like, I have a love affair with Justin Herbert at quarterback. He's under 3 in this game. Do I like the Browns? Yes, I do like the Browns. But if you're asking me today where my passing game is all jacked up for the Cleveland Browns, I got to trust the young kid, Justin Herbert, to win this football game. And this line has moved in the same direction. 1.5 now to 2.5. As long as it's under 3, I like the Chargers here, Kyle.
Yeah, I agree. Look, here's what the Browns are going to do. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to run it again, and they're going to run it again. This is going to be the most boring team to watch. They take the soul and the life out of every game. They love these 15, 20 play drives. It's impossible to watch. You can't touch a total here. But I think that, look, the Cleveland defense is good. The Chargers defense is equally as good. And then when you look at that Chargers offense, I mean, the injuries for the Jarvis Landry, that's a huge loss for Cleveland. That passing game looks putrid. Baker Mayfield, I've never thought he's very good. He makes terrible decisions. He's not accurate. He doesn't have great timing. For me, it's just Chargers or bust. I think the line's a little short. I think the Chargers are a lot better right now with the injuries than Cleveland is. This game is in LA. I know it's the short week for the Chargers, but I still like them. If I'm getting this under a field goal, there's just nothing in that Cleveland offense that makes me think they're going to go up and down the field and keep up with all the talent and all the explosive plays for the Chargers. I like the Chargers here. I like a -2.5. I thought about their team total, and then I realized Cleveland will suck the soul out of this game. Don't touch any totals. I kind of lean the under 47 here. I don't think either defense allows a ton of points, but the Chargers get it done here. They're just a more complete team.
I love it. I really like the Chargers. I do. I mean, you talk about a bright future. I love Eckler running back. He's the perfect new style NFL running back. Herbert is an absolute fantastic quarterback, young quarterback too. Williams at wide receiver, Keenan Allen at wide receiver. There's not a lot to not like about their offense, but Cleveland's a good football team here, Jeff. Looking at this game on the road, Cleveland in a good spot because they won ugly last week, but yet again, they still won, which shows you can win looking pretty. You can win looking ugly, which is a great thing. But what are you looking at this game between the Chargers and the Browns?
Great game. Two good football teams that I think are going to be there close to the end. I'm not going to try to pick a winner or anything. I'm going to throw a prop out here.
Get it.
Kareem Hunt over 45.5 rushing yards, -105. Let's just say he gets 10 carries because he's around 10 to 15 a game right now. He's averaging 5.4 yards a carry. Just give me 5. Give me 4.5. We're going to hit that. I think for me, if I'm the Browns, you must keep the football on the ground. This is the worst rush defense in the NFL. Make them stop the run. Okay. Eventually things are going to work out. I'll look for the Browns just to give Kareem Hunt the ball. Just give me 12 carries. I think he gets there. Give me 10 carries. I think he gets there. 45.5, a little too low. I'm on that.
Yeah, I like those secondary shots at running backs there because he is going to get his fair share. It's not like it's a 50-50 share, but if you're going to get at least 40% of the carries there, which typically it seems like he does, you should be in line. We got 3 games to talk about over the next 7 minutes here, so let's get them started. Giants and the Cowboys, Jones and Prescott. Now, this is one I really didn't cap that much because I think it's perfect. 52, 53 is a point as a total, 7s across the board. I didn't have a great feel for this one because I don't like the New York Giants as a football team per se. I'm shocked they won last week because I really thought that clock was already going to start spinning on Joe Judge. probably getting fired sooner than later at this point. But then again, as like a fan of an NFC East team, I'm like, hey, man, keep Joe Judge around for as long as you possibly can. Because if they end up with like a Brian Dable or somebody like that, or Luke Fickell when he heads to the NFL, that's not going to be a good thing here for anybody outside of the New York Giants here in the NFC East. But looking at this game, Kyle, didn't have a great feel for this one. Which Giants team are we shown here? The one that came back last week, or the one that played for 3.5 quarters that looked terrible against the Saints?
Yeah, well, I like Daniel Jones and the Giants more on the road than I do at home. I know that's a weird thing to say, but he just doesn't play well at home.
Yeah.
I was close to pulling the trigger on this Giants team total over 20.5 minus 145. Look, the Cowboys offense has been great. We certainly underestimated them coming into the season. Dak Prescott has returned in full force, but the Giants can move the ball here. They have advantages in that secondary. The Cowboys are still allowing a ton of yards and a ton of points. That defense is not very good. I think the Giants can score here. Daniel Jones has not been the turnover machine he was in years past. I like that they're letting him throw it a little bit more. Of course, they're going to be minus Shepard and Slayton today, so it's for you DFS players, John Ross and thank you, are some value plays. Kadarius Toney, 4,300 and 3,400. You can play them on DraftKings. If I'm picking a side here, I think the Giants cover. I don't want this huge spread in a divisional game. I think the Giants can score on that Dallas offense. There's going to be a lot of points here. You're right. It's a pretty sharp number. It's right on point. In terms of a prop, I took Daniel Jones over 22.5 completions. They're going to have to throw to stay in this game. Dallas is going to be able to score as well. But that Giants team total over 20.5 is pretty enticing to me. Win or lose, I think they get to 21 points.
How about this one, Jeff? NFC East battle. Which way are you looking here?
Look, I know no one wants to hear this, and I know we'll hear the hot takes week to week. The Dallas Cowboys are the best offensive team in the NFL. Sue me if you don't agree. I don't care. Yeah. I'm not just sitting here on Arizona or whatever. Look, Dallas is that good. They're going to put up 30s every week. And remember, last 5 games between these two, Dallas has gotten mid-30s in all of them. Every week from here on out, I'll be on their team total. It's 30.5 tonight. Obviously, Donnie makes a good point. You're not going to it's not ideal having to get to 30 every week, but I think this is that good a team. They're very good on the ground. They're very good through the air. I mean, when guys like Cedric Wilson are catching touchdowns, that's your 3rd or 4th option every week. That's how good this offense is. Dalton Schultz, the big boys up at receiver. So, yeah, I'm going to just bank on the fact that they score every week. This is the best offense in the NFL. It's that simple.
All right, San Francisco and Arizona. Another simple one for me. Trey Lance going on the road to get his first career start against a really good Arizona team, and I just scratched my head to look at the 5.5. I don't know why it's below 7. I don't. George Kittle's not going to play in this game. You have no running backs whatsoever for the San Francisco 49ers. So now you're going to tell me this kid is going on the road, and basically you're anticipating him winning this football game, or at least having a chance to win this football game. I don't see it here. Arizona by a touchdown for me, Kyle. It's just simple. If you're looking at just the box score and say, look what Trey Lance does, actually watch the tape here. It's one of those guys where it's still too early for him to play. Is he going to be a good quarterback? Probably so. Is Kyle Shanahan going to be able to mold him and get some weapons around him? Yes, but I just don't think that time is now. There's not enough weapons, and he doesn't make the simple play easy enough for me to trust him on the road here, Kyle. I see Arizona winning by a touchdown or more in this game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree. I'll make this short and sweet. I love my 49ers, obviously, but that team is decimated in the secondary. They have nobody who can cover anyone. And the strength of that team, the front 7, the pass rush, the best way to negate that, Kyler Murray running around. He's very difficult to get down. He's going to wear out that front 7. No one can defend those wide receivers in that secondary for the 49ers. I don't know how they stop this offense. And when you flip it to the other side, do I love the Arizona defense? Not so much, but where are the 49ers going to take advantage of them? Is Trey Lance going to be able to get the ball to Deebo Samuel? There's too many unknowns here. Arizona wins this one by a touchdown or more. You got to take the Cardinals. There's just not enough going on right now for the 49ers.
Jeff, what do you got? It's an interesting game because you got people split on both sides here. I just don't trust rookies on the road when I don't think they're ready to win. Particularly, they ain't playing the Jets, Jeff. They're playing the Cardinals here.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm on the other side, guys. This is a play I've already made. 1 unit. I'm on the Niners plus 5.5. I think it's a great selection. Shanahan, 60% in his career as a dog. Here's some things we have to remember. Kyle mentioned that San Francisco's defense isn't good. I don't know. I mean,
it's good. They're just injured in the secondary. Yeah. It's a good defense, but
and here's the thing. But you look at Arizona, going to be without Byron Murphy, 3 interceptions on the season. They're a defense I don't trust. I think they're a little overvalued here, guys. Arizona is a good football team. I'm not ready to anoint them as the second coming. Solid team. This is a divisional game. It's an important matchup. I would rather have Trey Lance over Jimmy G. I know, Donnie, you would agree ultimately. I'll give me Trey Lance over Jimmy G. I know it's, again, also, you mean to tell me they're the best team in the NFL, laying 5.5 under a touchdown? Sign me up. I'm not so sure. I think it's a tough game. I think Shanahan keeps them in this one. And I think their defense is better than people give them credit for. Top 10 in total defense. I'm going to back San Francisco here, plus the 5.5. I think Trey Lance proves today he might be the best of the rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, you give me George Kittle and Mostert in that backfield, I might agree with you. But taking those two guys away.
Donnie, I'm going to keep telling you.
Yeah.
Sometimes injuries don't matter. Look at Baltimore against Kansas City. Sometimes
but was George Kittle's like the best tight end in football, though? Like, if I'm a young quarterback, I'll throw to him 40 times. What's that?
Why's the line not moved? It's 5.5. Why isn't it moved?
We'll see. Because maybe people think like, hey, the 49ers are a really good football team.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's, but we'll see. It'll be an interesting. You're right. It's a division game, and I think the line should be better. But it's the same way I look at the Vegas Raiders game. Like, I can't trust a quarterback that doesn't really know how to play in the NFL yet against a team that knows how to play. We'll see how it plays out. It'll be at 4:00.
And the strength of that Cardinals offense with Kyler Murray running around, it negates the strength of the 49ers defense. That is the strength that they've struggled with this, even when they had the dominant Super Bowl defense. Mobile quarterbacks who can get away, wear out that front seven. Those corners are not built to defend that long, and those corners are injured. It's a bad secondary right now for the 49ers.
I remember when Donnie and I was on my show on Wednesday, and we talked about this. It was 5.5 then, and I said, I'm in. I'm thinking maybe it'll be hot. We're still a 5.5. Mm-hmm. Surprising for sure, especially with a team in Arizona who's undefeated still.
Right.
Yeah, well, we'll see it play out here. Buffalo and Kansas City tonight should be an interesting one. I really want to push the lever on Buffalo's team total over, but I've got to wait a little bit longer here about the weather conditions that might pop up in this one. 56.5 across the board. And even if the weather pops up, it doesn't take away that I do think Buffalo wins this game. Nice weather, bad weather, no weather, it doesn't matter. I think Buffalo's the better football team tonight, and I don't even want the points. I'll take a money line, Kyle. What are you looking at here?
I completely agree. I think Buffalo's the better team here as well. Both prolific offenses, terrific offenses, great wide receiver play, great quarterback play. Where the Bills stand out is the defense. The Chiefs' defense is absolutely putrid. The Bills have a very, very good defense. They're number one against quarterbacks this year. You flip that over, the Chiefs are second worst in the league. I think the Bills are a better team. They're certainly the best team on the card getting points today. When I see that, right? I mean, is there any other team getting points today that's better than the Buffalo Bills? I don't think so. I think they are a more complete team than Kansas City. Keep an eye on that weather, though. We watched that last year. These two offensive played. Remember, it was a little bit rainy and overcast in Kansas City there, and that was an ugly game. Neither one of these teams great running teams, so you need those good conditions so they can throw the football. As long as the conditions allow it, I do like the Buffalo Bills in this one.
What do you got, Jeff? Big game tonight.
Listen, a piece of advice from me on a Sunday. Sheeps generally get slaughtered. Don't be a sheep. This is NFL propaganda at its best. It is not going to rain tonight. Go to the National Weather Service or AccuWeather and look it up. It's thunderstorms. You might see some rain, but it's not.
Well, doesn't that mean rain? Wait, hold on. Thunderstorm means
Tasha
rain,
says
right?
pouring down raining. Does she live? Do
Thunderstorms
they live
again
there?
are
I don't know.
Saturdays, though, folks. Go look at AccuWeather. Don't trust your iPhone weather app. Sorry. I know how meteorology works. It's just that simple. Now, again, if you want to wait, go ahead, but it's propaganda. They want you to bet the under. There's so much money coming in on the over here. Ultimately, I'm on Buffalo, though. I think they're the better team. I think they're the best team in the NFL, and I think they proved that tonight. Josh Allen, that defense. Can we just agree, both of you guys, Chiefs are a little overvalued, I think, every week. We don't want to lay points with them either. Who wants to lay points with this group?
Yeah.
I don't care that they beat the Eagles last week. The Eagles aren't good. Buffalo's the best team in the NFL. They get the job done tonight. Go check the weather. Again, Donnie.
Jeff, it says rain, chance 100%, 2 to 3 inches of rain. What are you talking about? 2 to 3 inches of rain. What are you looking at? Kansas City, Kansas?
No, I'm looking at Kansas City, Missouri. I can send you it if you want me to.
I'm reading it right now. It says during the day, sunshine in the morning, at night, rain, low of 55, 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, chance of rain 100%, 2 to 3 inches of rain expected, locally heavy rainfall.
Yeah, I'm looking at AccuWeather and I'm seeing 20%, but I guess maybe we have wrong stuff.
I'm just a deputy weatherman. I don't even know what the hell is going on. I'm going to stay the hell away from the game. I don't even want to touch it anymore.
Yeah. But I'm
going to watch the 1998 Royal Rumble for Christ's sake.
Let me send you what I have here. Maybe I'm
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't
No, that's
think
what
we're
that's what I
gonna
worry
win.
about. But again, if it rains heavy like that, I'd probably trust Buffalo even more to win the game. But I did want to take a team total. That'll do it for today. 2 minutes till kickoff, guys. Real quick here on us. Where are we going with our wagers today? On my big board today, Titans over 24.5 minus 150 at MGM. Bengals team total over 22.5. That's at minus 155 at MGM. Kyle, what do you got today? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers -3, and I also like that Lions team total over 17.5 at minus 120. I think they get to 20 points there. We're going to go with a little bit of pain, take a terrible team, take that team total. Let's go.
What do you got, Jeff? Go ahead quickly.
Yeah. Ultimately, I don't think the weather's a problem. I think the Bills will win. I think they're the best team in the NFL. I like them today.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today. Over 600 people live watching at one point about midway through the show. Awesome stuff. Thank you for tuning in to us. Also, keep in mind, the football never ends here at sportsbook.com. Tomorrow, opening line show, Kyle, already at 4 p.m. as we'll be rocking, rolling, and ready to go. Thanks for joining us today, everybody in the chat box. Really bringing the heat. I'm Donnie RightSide for the DFS Bachelor, Kyle Purviance, and Jeff Nado, the big man on campus. Today, we were the sportsbook.com NFL team, and as always, good luck on your wagers.